Hello, I'm Lydia. For those who don't know me, I'm married to Stephen and we've been at York Elim Church since we were students here, so for me about 6 years. I've been thinking about doing one of these videos for a while, especially because through lockdown I've seen God do a lot of stuff in me, work out a lot of stuff, and it's been a real time of reflection and of correction. And there's been a lot of things, and there still are a lot of things that distance me from God, and He's been revealing things to me that have taught me more about Him and how to grow in His love and how to grow in love for others. Lots of things have been small, whether that's dealing with lies I've believed in certain areas of my life, or going into the nitty-gritty of things in the past that have affected me. But I just really wanted to share a little bit about what He's been showing me over the last week or so. I'm quite a busy person. I always have been quite busy. I get involved in quite a lot of stuff, so that's why I sort of saw lockdown as a bit of a break, like a breath of fresh air, just to relax and slow down. But recently I felt that the heat is starting to be turned up again, and I'm very much in danger of feeling quite overwhelmed. And I can feel overwhelmed in loads of different ways, but there's two specific ways that I wanted to share with you. So there's feeling overwhelmed with the amount of stuff to do, which I think is something many people struggle with. But for me, it's especially stuff that involves other people. And I can get quite overwhelmed by how good or successful things look to other people that I have done. So to give you an example, just last week we were going away to Nottingham to see our parents, and we had a really lovely time. And Stephen had arranged previously for us to have a friend round for dinner on Sunday night here back in York. And when we got to Sunday morning, we were having a big roast dinner for Sunday lunch. So I knew I wasn't going to want anything particularly big for the Sunday night meal. And to be honest, I wanted to stay with my parents longer. And I started to feel quite overwhelmed by the fact that a friend was coming round for dinner and I wasn't going to cook anything. And we were just getting sandwich bits in, and I suppose part of me thought that that wasn't really a very good thing for a hostess to do. It seems ridiculous as I say it now, but that's what I was feeling. And I actually thought maybe it would be better to reschedule. And in this, I started to act out a little bit. I got a little bit grumpy, and God really pulled me up on it, because not only had I lost my joy and my peace, but I'd been quite selfish in looking out for my own interests. As in, I wanted the friend to come round when it was going to make me look good. And I also wanted to spend time with my parents, which wasn't a bad thing, but I prioritised that over what God wanted me to do, and how we could bless our friend. And they came round, we had our sandwiches, and we had a lovely time. And it just taught me that we have to be so sensitive to God's Spirit and His will and how we can bless others, and just make sure our thoughts aren't twisted or controlled by anything else but Him, because otherwise we won't develop the fruits of the Spirit. And it's definitely a work in progress in me to not feel overwhelmed by that. And the other area of feeling overwhelmed is that God is working through in me is feeling quite overwhelmed by what He might have me do. And as I'm seeing myself grow spiritually, I can already see the opportunities that He's giving me to help others grow closer to Him, and also the opportunities to talk about Him. And I guess there's part of me that's believed I'm not very good at that, or I'm not worthy of it. And one thing, as some of you know, the Lord has led me to do over the last year or so is to write a book, and it's a fiction book That's a story which is really reflecting the struggles I've had, again, about how to look or feel successful in the society we live in, and that actually that's quite destructive, and there's a more excellent way to live, which is Christ. And with this book I've written, things are starting to progress quite rapidly, and I've been quite fearful and overwhelmed of how God might use me in it, because it's kind of scary. But the Bible says that perfect love casts out fear, and that God is love. So if I just stop and come to him with a humble heart, saying, you know what, Lord, I can't do this without you, any of it, this thing, life, and I focus on him first before all of that stuff that gets me overwhelmed. The fear has no place. Satan has no place. My flesh has no place. And feeling overwhelmed certainly has no place, because his goodness, his gentleness, majesty, and his peace take over. And I've just been experiencing that time and time again when I just come back into his presence humbly. And as a result, I want to be in his presence even more, which is just amazing. I'm starting to believe in my heart that no weapon against me will prosper, because he's got me and he knows what he's doing, and I know he's protecting me. And I just want to finish with a verse that I feel led to share, and it's one I shared at a prayer meeting a couple of weeks ago, and Suze Newton also shared it again at our house group meeting, and it's a great couple of verses, and it just really speaks into my struggle of feeling overwhelmed. And it's Jeremiah chapter 17 verses 7 to 8, and I'd just like to read it. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, and whose hope is the Lord. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and will not fear when heat comes, but its leaf will be green, and will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. Thanks for listening.